Okay, a lot of times I'm coming to you on script so that I can just stay focused with my message. But right now, I'm off script because God gave me something this morning to bring to you. I've always had it, but now it's time to bring it to you. Everything in the Bible is not for you today. Whoever is living and breathing today, everything in that Bible is not for you. And I'm going to prove it. Some stuff is in, it's some crazy stuff in there. And there are reasons for it. The craziest stuff in the Bible is the first 5 books of the Bible called the Book of Moses. It's considered the Word of God because God allowed Moses to execute the, the laws and the instructions that he gave the children of Israel. By estimate, about 3 million folks were going through the wilderness being led by Moses. That's an estimation, but that's reasonable. And he's carrying 3 million folks or leading 3 million folks through a wilderness with no road map, no GPS especially. And a lot of that trip was going around in circles because even Moses didn't even know where he was going. Okay? But he was still being led by God. Going around in circles was a lesson to be learned. That's another video. This video is talking about, though, do you do everything? Do you accept everything as your instructions in life? I'm going to read some stuff, and let me just say if you're doing it. So now, I said I don't have a script, but I do have some scriptures I want to read to you. James 2:10 said, "Whoever keeps the whole law and yet stumbles in one point, he has become guilty of all." So if you're a practicing Jew, I don't know how you're going to do all this stuff in the Bible that the Torah says do. I don't know how, but that's the mindset of a Jew. James was a Jew. Now, modern day Jews, I know some of them. They don't do this. Anyway, so here's the deal. Moses was leading 3 million people through the wilderness. And if you got out of hand, if things didn't go right, he had rules and regulation that he enforced because Moses wasn't taking no mess. I led y'all out of Egypt. I'm leading y'all through the wilderness. You're going to do what I say do or suffer the consequences. So let's read some of the crazy stuff in there. I do have scriptures in front of me. Here's one of them where God said, well, I said God said, where Moses, it's hard, but check it out. Okay, I'm still gonna, God, okay, here we go. God, it's crazy. Y'all get ready. Put your seatbelts on. Okay, God administrated Moses and gave Moses carte blanche. But here's the deal. So here's the kicker. God did not micromanage Moses. He gave Moses the authority of leadership. And Moses did just that. Moses did what he had to do, leading 3 million folks through the wilderness. So check this out. Deuteronomy 21, starting with 18, where the punishment for a child being disobedient is a public death by stoning. In other words, if you were going through the wilderness with Moses, 3 million population, and your children were hard-headed, rebellious, you just killed them and left them in the wilderness, and the beat went on. That's pretty rough. That's some cold-blooded stuff there. Here's another one. Lord have mercy. This one, oh my God, this one. Ooh, this one is up there. God the Father, Jehovah, Yahweh did not support slavery. They did have servants, and if a man beat his servant or his maid with a rod and he died under his hand, then the man didn't have to die, but the man got punished. Because the servant was the man's moneymaker. Wow, that's rough there. Yep, that's why I said I'm going to attribute this to Moses. God didn't micromanage him. He was getting him through the wilderness. And you know what? God didn't even let Moses go to the promised land. Joshua led them. Moses died. He died at 120 years old and still didn't make it. Okay, here's the deal. You know how men stalk women and can stalk your daughter? I had a granddaughter who had a stalker. And so here's the deal with what Moses said. If a man rapes a virgin, then you got to give that virgin girl or woman to the man, and she becomes his new wife. Now that's some crazy stuff there. If a man rapes a woman that is a virgin, the woman automatically becomes his wife. So in other words, I don't know where the logic is there, but I can just deduce that if you let your daughter get raped, you're not protecting your daughter, and you let your daughter get raped, you got to give her to the rapist. Because, I mean, in this day and time, going through that wilderness with 3 million folks, wow, it's rough. It's rough. Now, here's one that today I would say it's not even fair by today's logic, but it's in there. Oh, that previous one about the version, like I said, I'm off script, no script. So it was Deuteronomy 22, 28, and 29. So, but check out, this one is a real kicker. Deuteronomy 23:2 states that if you were born out of wedlock, then you and your children up to a 10th generation are excluded from the assembly of God. In other words, if you are born outside a lawful marriage, and put in today's vernacular, you can't go to church for 10 generations. Your kids, your grandkids, 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 grandkids. You are excluded from the assembly of God. That's some strong stuff. Moses didn't play. That wasn't meant for us. So this video is just showing you some examples of how, yes, there are some crazy things in the Bible that are not meant for us. That was Moses going through the wilderness. Now, the 10 Commandments, that was a direct, those were direct instructions to Moses. The 10 Commandments are for us. However, we don't necessarily do them, but they're still our guidelines. And here's the one that we really transgress all the time. You got 10 of them. I'll just highlight one. Thou shalt not lie. Who doesn't lie? Abraham lied. He was a Jew. Peter lied, the first leader of the physical church. And Peter, I'll say Peter was the first human leader of the physical new Christian church. And Peter, we have record of him lying. So that doesn't mean you're not going to transgress the Ten Commandments, but those are for us directly. So I will agree to that when it comes to the Ten Commandments. I'm not agreeing to this nonsense here about beating your slave or or stealing your daughter by raping her, or you're born out of wedlock, you can't go to an assembly no more, or you're going to kill your child because your child is hard headed. We wouldn't have any children today if we kill the hard headed kid because all of them are hard headed. So the reason you get confused is you read the Bible and you don't study when Paul said, study to show yourself approved, a workman that needed not be ashamed, rightfully dividing the word of truth. And that's what I'm trying to do right now. I'm trying to rightly divide it. Stuff that belongs to Moses, go to Moses. And I got some other stuff I need to bring up. Let me go to another page. Like I said, I do have scripture in front of me. I don't have a script for me. Let me see. There's something about Jesus I was going to read. Oh my God, where was it? I'm not on script, so hold tight. Well, I don't see it now, but I know it basically from memory. Jesus didn't come to destroy the law and destroy this because he knew Moses had to have this to do what he had to do. Jesus came to fulfill it because now, due to the death, burial, and resurrection of Jesus Christ, we're not under this law. We're under grace and truth. We're under more common sense. In other words, the common sense is you can't kill your child for being hard headed, but you better discipline your child. You don't let your child run you. The tail doesn't wag the dog. And you protect your daughter. You don't let your daughter have carte blanche to live any kind of way she wants, because yeah, she will. Some of them do get abducted and 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 taken away from society and raped multiple times. I can imagine some of these natives in places like Montana. These girls are missing for life. Essentially, they there is a possibility if someone kidnaps a native in Montana or anywhere, and they never see him again. She did become his new wife. This is some strong stuff, y'all. I'm telling you. Stop thinking everything. Now, next time I come, I'm going to talk about Corinthians, where they try to bash women and talk about what all women can't do and women can't lead. That is a lie from the pit of hell, because uh, Google. I'm out of here right now, but Google Deborah. There was a time after this that Deborah, a judge of Israel, ran things. She ran the men, the children, the ox, the sheep, the turtle doves. Deborah was the boss, and Deborah was a woman. But yet y'all get stuck on Corinthians talking about what all women can't do. Okay, Paul was talking to the Corinthians, but hey, that's so controversial. Let's don't do that in this video. Just be looking for more videos. Just go ahead and follow me. Follow me because mm, I, I represent the kingdom. And I look, the devil does not like my TikTok videos. I know some of y'all religious folks say, yeah, you on a limb too. Well, I tell you what, the devil doesn't like this limb I'm on. Okay, so I'm long enough. I see 14 minutes up there. I'm going to conclude. I will be back. Okay, I'm not going anywhere. Please follow me. Let's build uh, God's kingdom even further and include my videos. It's 9:45. It's 9:45, my thing said. I'm out. Okay, bye. I I will hopefully be back on script, okay? Take care. Be blessed.